On the 17th of November 2019, the world was graced with the first ever Minecraft Championships. And to celebrate the 3rd year anniversary, I'm going all the way back to the beginning to look at the entire history of MCC. But before we begin, let me know your favourite ever MCC memory in the comments section below to celebrate the anniversary. And whilst you're down there, make sure to subscribe. This was a huge project, so it would mean the world to me if you did. As we head all the way to the start. A collaboration between Nox Crew, Smager and iHas Cupquakes, Minecraft Championships was a much improved upon replacement to Minecraft Monday, with much more imaginative and fun game modes, as well as being organised about 1,000 times better. The first and originally only event took place on November 17th, 2019, with 40 incredible and varied streamers such as Filzer, Jack Sucks at Life, Vicstar, Pizza Hut, Wilbur, Shovel, as well as our 2 wonderful organisers taking part in this brilliant event that was just so insanely good and unlike anything we'd ever seen at the time. The event was won by our very first victors, the Purple Pandas, of Kratzy, Cara Corvus, Michael McChill and King Burren, and was a huge hit with many viewers of that original event. So much so that 3 months later, on the 9th of February 2020, it returned as Minecraft Championships the sequel, or otherwise known as MCC 2. Now purely run by Scott and the Nox Crew, some heavy hitters came into the event, from Technoblade to TommyInnit to the Drift King himself, RT Game. This event was eventually won by the Aqua Horses, because alliteration didn't exist yet, of Quig, H-Bomb, Ryguy Rocky and Mini Mooka, which is very funny because Mini Mooka was officially a winner before legends like Technoblade and Pizza Hut, and that will always remain a fact. The next event wasn't as long as a wait, as MCC3 happened just before the world locked down on the 14th of March 2020, with the event becoming more popular by the second. This tournament was won by the incredibly OP Orange Ocelots of Vicstar, Shovel, Pizza Hut and strangely Smager, who definitely didn't make this team. That would be insane. Kinda like the next tournament, MCC 4. Happening on April 18th, this saw the 4 Sleepy Boys of TommyInnit, Wilbur, Filzer and the almighty Technoblade join together to completely destroy the event as the Purple Pandas, as they broke almost every single record in existence, with many of them still standing today, such as the most individual coins gathered in an event by Techno, which is a record that seems harder and harder to beat with every single passing event. MCC5 was next with our first repeat winners, as on May 16th we saw Smager and Shovel once again take the crown, as well as of course with Quig, with CPK being our only new winner. This event was also the first ever with Sands of Time involved, a controversial game that is now a fan favourite. MCC6 then happened on the 13th of June, and it was also a historic tournament, as we saw Fundy and Fruitberries win their very first event alongside Bitzel and Captain Puffy, with Bitzel's video on the event scheduled to come out in 2030, around about when MCC 206 is played. This was also the event that had the legendary Pink Piglets in the tournament, as well as introducing Grian, Dream and George Not Found to the event. But not Sapnap yet, because he joined in MCC 7 on July 19th, which was a huge tournament as we saw the team point record be set as the Green Guardians of Eric, Thwip, Pizza Hut and of course H-Bomb finally broke Pete's Dodgebot curse, as well as of course setting the highest ever score we've seen in a canon event, with 25,346 points, which is just insane, with only Aqua in MCC Pride 2021 bettering it. But we'll get to them soon, as next we go on to MCC 8 on the 15th of August, where we saw the team up between Michael McChill and King Burren, Yep, that's right, they are back. Also, Technoblade and Dream were there. However, that doesn't matter, because Michael and Burren won. It was the best. But for real, this was an insane team and victory that was made even sweeter because, fun fact, they actually came second in this event before they won in Dodgeball, which is very funny. But now let's speed up a little as we speed through the last events of Season 1. In MCC 9 on September 12, 2020, we saw the legendary Blue Bats of H-Bomb, Fruitberries, Full Symmetry and Rendog pull off the ultimate shock win, which fostered again on September 26th in MCC 10 alongside Pizza Hut, Smallish Beans and Cub Fan. In MCC 11, our first Halloween event on October 24th, 2020, we saw the Dream Team magic their way to victory alongside Carl Jacobs, which George would then do again in the first anniversary of MCC on November 14th, as the Green Guardians of Wilbur, Filzer, Tapel and of course George won MCC 12. Which takes us to MCC 13, the final one of Season 1, where Illumina and Puns finally won after so long in the event, and by that I mean it was their second, as on December 12th they, along with Erit and Krinios, got the victory. I also of course need to mention our first ever non-canon event, Jingle Jam, a week earlier on the 5th of December 2020, where Solidarity carried in the Littlewood as well as Simon and Lewis to victory with a first place individually. However, that takes us to our 5-month break, which is also the perfect time for me to tell you to subscribe. I'm a small channel when compared to MCC highlights and all things MCC, being the only person to work on this huge video, so it would really mean the world to me if you did. As we skip a very long break and jump to MCC 14 on May 29th, 2021, our first event of Season 2 and of the year, which was hugely controversial to say the least, with the Great Filzer taking everyone on a very strange trip in Ace Race. But in the end we saw H-Bomb, Smager, Wisp and Solidarity grab the win, which may have exploded Twitter a bit. However, MCC Pride 2021 managed to calm down the storm, as the event raised over $340,000 for the Trevor Project in a beautiful tournament, which was also the last for the legend that is Technoblade. However, due to a 2-point difference, it was the Orange Ocelots that took on the Aqua Axolotls, with Creek, Illumina, Gizzy and Ryguy coming out on top, as we also saw our first ever 21 vs 20 dodgeball, which was incredible. MCC 15 was next, which took place on July 24th, as Dream and Sapnap once again teamed up alongside Quackity and Michael McChill to once again get the victory, as we also saw Parkour Tag join the event alongside new players like Antfrost, 5UP, Preston Plays and Ranboo. MCC 16 was also won by Dream on August 28th, 2021, alongside CPK, Bad Boy Halo and Finster, who is cracked at dodgeball. This event also had several contestants raising money for cancer after former player Technoblade announced that he had sarcoma, which you can still donate towards research into stopping this in the description below. MCC 17 on September 18th was another huge milestone in the event, as Green finally got his first win after so many close finishes before. He achieved this in seemingly the longest and most nerve-wracking dodgeball ever that saw him 1v3 his way to victory, alongside his teammates of Full Symmetry, Pizza Hut, and of course SB737. We then saw a brand new event join the roster as we got our first and currently only ever MCC Rising event, which saw smaller CCs on the rise apply to be within the event in teams of 4. A huge number of people applied, but eventually we got down to 10 who battled it out on the 2nd of October, with our eventual winners being Blushy, Speed Silver, Jojo Solos and Nestro, with 2 of these names being very recognisable to many. But that's a little bit further down the line. Before then, we get to MCC 18, or the event where Tubbo leaked everything, which took place on the 23rd of October 2021, being our second Halloween event, this time won once again by Sapnap, along with Smager, Sylvie and Tubbo, who then managed to leak the biggest MCC event ever with MCC All-Stars, which brought back 40 of our previous champions to battle it out to be the very best on November 13th, 2021. That was until the teams were released and everyone figured out that there'd be no stopping the Muffeteers on their way to victory in one of the most overpowered teams in MCC history, even if they did almost lose their friendship in Battlebox. Which takes us nicely to the last MCC of 2021, on the 11th of December with 19, which also saw another very broken team win, as TommyInnit, Sapnap, Filza and Sneak came home as victors for Christmas. What followed next was another small break for Nox Crew to enjoy their winter, before the return of MCC on the 26th of March 2022, for our 20th tournament, which was won by the legends that are Antfrost, Gemini Tay, 5UP, and our first ever 5-time champion, H-Bomb, going down in MCC history. But as we're in the 20s now and more recent events, it's time for another speed round, as we start with MCC 21 on the 30th of April, where we got to see our first Simmer win in Zeus, along with our second 5-time champion Sapnap, who was just beaten to the punch, along with CPK and a complete newbie to the event, Sniffrish, also picking up the victory. MCC 24 followed on the 28th of May 2022, with the captain's curse finally being broken as Sparkles finally got his first ever win alongside Purple and the Orion Sound, with Tommy also enjoying the glory. We then had Pride 2022 on June 18th, which again raised so much for the Trevor project, which can be found in the description below, as Foolish proved himself to be a dodgeball king, taking him, Carl Jacobs, Dream and George to victory. MCC 23 came out after this on July 23rd, with this being the first ever event after Technoblade's passing was announced. Not only a legend of the MCC community, but also of Minecraft as a whole, many tributes were made, including a monument that was placed in the hub world of MCC, where it will stay forevermore. Technoblade never dies. This event was extremely close, with the eventual winners being Finster, Eric in the Littlewood breaking his own captain's curse, and Quig, who had played in 16 tournaments without a win before this event. August 20th gave us MCC 24, where Dream picked up his 5th win alongside George, Bad Boy Halo and Skeppy, which nicely takes us on to the last 3 tournaments, starting with MCC 25 on the 24th of September, which saw us gain 2 new winners, with the past rising winner of JoJo Solos winning her first official tournament alongside Good Times with Scar also winning his first one, with CPK and Smallish Beans completing the team. MCC 26 was our third Halloween event on the 22nd of October, and saw Fruitberries finally get back his crown, with this being our first ever event with 4 returning champions, as alongside him was Shovel, Filza and the Orion Sound. Which takes us on to MCC 27, taking place only a few days ago on the 12th of November 2022, with this being the anniversary event for MCC 1, and as such was made extra special, being named MCC Underdogs, which would only consist of players who'd never won before to make it extra special for the event. And despite a valiant fight from our Valorant players in the Cyan Coyotes, the Purple Pandas of BOO, Impulse, Blushy and of course Firebreath Man took home the victory in our last MCC of Year 3. So with us completing our entire history, we have to ask, what's next? Will it go on for another 3 years? Will we ever get to MCC 100? Will I ever be in it? Well, no matter what, I can't wait to find out. This has been AJX. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. And as always, peace.